We have a bunch of weak, feckless leaders
Why
creating
around
hard
the
times
event?
right now.
What the fuck is going
Will
on?
you let me
right
Do
now?
we take him out to a farm and shoot him?
No spin, no filters, just the real conversation.
I hope it's not short-lived, man.
Finance, politics, economics, and general trends. They make up the bellwether, the things, and it's a score out of 16.
Okay.
So whenever you have whenever you're trying to predict a president, you can see like, hey, based on their performance in these 4 factors, who was stronger in them, and it tries to take the person out of it and just look at impact, right?
Right.
So in finance, certain stocks and sectors are known as bellwether stocks or bellwether sectors. These indicate, I'm just reading here, these indicate the health of a broader market or economy. So for example, tech companies like Apple and Microsoft are considered bellwether because their performance often reflects larger economic trends. So if those stocks are doing well, then that president, that person gets those points. Okay. Politics. Yeah. So when you consider the politics score, regions or states with a history of preceding election outcomes are also called bellwether states. So for example, Ohio has been considered a bellwether state in U.S. presidential elections due to its tendency to vote for the eventual winner. That makes sense. You know, then some states are like that. Ohio, again, another year where it predicted the right winner. Ohio went blue in 2020? I think.
Yeah,
it did. We just looked this up during the thing. So it went blue in 2020. It went red in 2016. I was actually
really shocked that it was blue in 2020. I really thought that they would be.
Looked it up, man. Did it?
No, it did. I'm like almost 100% positive of it.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm almost like. Let's see here.
No, it was red.
It was red,
I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Where do you actually see it there? Oh wait, no. Here we go.
It's right next to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
To the left.
So no Republican. Here's an interesting statistic: no Republican has ever won the White House without winning Ohio. The last Democrat to win the White House without winning Ohio was John F. Kennedy in 1960.
Oh.
So, starting with Lyndon Johnson in 1964, the presidential candidate who won Ohio has also won the presidency.
So maybe it's more of a bellwether for Republicans.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Yeah, the delegates in Ohio, they all went to Biden and Trump, obviously, but blah, 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 blah. Interesting. Okay, so economic bellwether score. This is specific economic indicators like employment rates, GDP growth, consumer confidence, all kind of contribute to that score for economic health, which often predicates recessions and expansions. And then you have general trends in consumer behavior and technology adoption. Early adopters or leading companies are categorized as bellwether for these mainstream leads. Those 4 things, all kind of make up the category. Now, what if we go back? Okay, if we go back all the way to 1984, okay, bellwether for all the battleground states. In 84 predicted Reagan, 88 predicted Bush, 92 predicted Clinton, 96 Clinton, 2000 Bush, 2004 Bush, 2008 Obama, 2012 Obama, 2016 Trump. Do we see a trend here? Yes, they all pick the eventual winner of the election. In 2016, they universally 100% all voted for Trump. In 2020, all except for one state was for Trump. So 94% of the bellwether factors said Trump was going to win.
Right.
Biden won. The only outlier. And then in 2024, 88% of the bellwether factors pointed to Trump.
Yep.
So for the last 20, 30 years, 40 years, last 40 years, they've all pointed to the eventual winner, except in fucking 2020.
Yeah. What was that? I sent you that graph, right?
I sent you the graph as well. I have it here.
Okay.
And so the graph you're talking about, I wish I could pop it up, but I don't. It's been a long day. I guess I could try maybe.
Blast, we text a lot, man.
Yeah, we do. So go ahead.
we're looking at this graph right now, and it's U.S. Election popular vote, Democrats versus Republicans in millions, right? And in 2012, we're looking at numbers 65 million to a little over 65 million to Democrats. That was Obama, right?
So just to jump in here,
a
real
little
quick.
over, yeah.
Just to jump in. So just the numbers Zach is talking about is the number of people who voted for the Democrats versus the number of people who voted for the Republicans in a given election. So 65 million people voted for Obama in 2012, and 61 million people voted for
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney.
McCain was in 08.
Yeah, that's right. Mitt Romney, the wet
So
noodle.
Romney was in 2012. So same in 2016. Roughly 65 million voted for Obama again, or not Obama, Clinton.
Yes. Yep. This is the popular vote.
This is okay. I was like, wait a second here.
Okay, so we're talking about the popular vote.
This is the popular vote, not the electoral.
No.
This doesn't affect who actually won. It's just how many people voted for.
Yes.
Democrats rock solid. It's like almost the exact same amount in both years, 2012, 2016. You fast forward to 2024, okay? That number is just a little bit higher at roughly, 68 million, okay? And Trump, okay, actually beat it by a little over 72 million in 2024, okay? So he rocked it by about, 7 million votes on the popular vote this year, okay? Let's go back to 2020 to prove Jesse's point, okay? There's this huge spike of over 82 million votes for the Democrats on the popular vote. And Trump is in almost to 75 million. Like, it's way off the effing charts. There is no way that happened. I mean, you're looking at 16 years of data and metrics, and the Democrats have voted almost the exact same for those 16 years, popular-wise.
Right.
Rock solid. The Republicans are kind of all over the place.
I mean, Republicans, Trump came in 2020. He was still, super popular, right? With all the left and their incessant attacks had really emboldened his supporters to come out and do something about it. So he again, it was a too big to regular ordeal. Like everybody come out and vote. This is ridiculous. They're trying to throw me in jail. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. And so we had a great showing. 74 million people voted for the dude, which is a massive departure from the 57 or whatever in 2016. But regardless, to go from 67, 82 down to 68. That doesn't make any sense. Where did the extra 20 million people come from?
They didn't go to Trump. They didn't sit the election out.
Or 18. How many extra million people? 15 million people? Where did they all come from?
It's seriously like 20 million people. Yeah, it's you go from 65 million to 82 million.
Yeah, so 18.
So
18 million people. So the question you have to ask yourself is Biden, who did very little campaigning.
He was in a basement.
Very little
almost
campaigning.
The entire time of COVID.
Yep. Did he do any campaigning?
No, I don't think he was out on the campaign trail at all.
So this dude,
he did some video broadcasts from his basement.
That's right. So because
everyone was terrified of his old ass getting COVID.
Yeah. So he is doing no campaigning. He has, let's see here. He has one of the 19 bell weather factors. He lost Florida, Ohio, and Iowa. He lost the House, right? He lost House seats. And he wins the presidency with a landslide, crushing Obama in 2020.
Yeah.
2012, right?
Yeah.
Crushing.
Crushing. 18 million extra votes, while Trump is also getting historic votes.
So yeah, and Trump and Obama have very similar campaigns.
Yeah.
Obama was obviously, targeting the left, and Trump was targeting the right, but very popular choices. Very popular. They were both drawing people from out of the woodworks to come vote for him.
Yep. Grassroots,
I was energized.
Huge.
I was massively. I voted for change in 2008. I would not make the same choice now, knowing what I know. But when I was 24, it sounded like a great idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, it really contributes to the narrative that 2020 was stolen.
Yep.
As I shrug here for those who aren't watching the video.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we've covered this multiple times where we've briefly talked about it, but there's so much more data now that has come out in this year that we can really dial in to what we're looking at and put metrics to it,
right?
Which puts it in a different ballpark than just, people are always like, where's your primary source? This is it. This is it. This is metrics and data collected, 16 years of it, popular votes. It's pretty plain to fucking see what's happening here.
I can, actually the thought just occurs to me looking at these numbers, and now I think I know why the Democratic elite are so worried. Their numbers have basically peaked. They have a net zero.
Yeah.
Outside of 2020, they have a net zero gain over 14 years. They have not been able to extend their base by a single vote over 20 years, 22 years, or whatever. Sorry, not 22, 14 years. Meanwhile, Republicans have had a steady increase year over year. In 2012, it was 62. In 2016, 63. 61, 63 in 2016. And then blowout in 2020 with 74. And then in 24, it kind of normalizes a little bit. It goes back to what we'd expect from the line graph here, and is at 72. And so they're growing at a steady rate year over year. So how do the Democrats fix this? Importing votes, and then trying to do everything they can to win an election. But it doesn't look like they were successful.
Fucking with your education system. You go to college, you become a liberal.
This is true. I mean, just look at it. I mean, that's why Charlie Kirk
he created Turning Point USA specifically for that.
He attacked that vector of the campaign, and it had results. It
had huge
big time results.
The craziest thing, the biggest demographic of voters for Trump was Generation X, the one right ahead of us.
Yeah.
That's the biggest generation voting for Trump. The baby boomers, our parents, totally not voting for Trump. I think more people voted for Harris out of that demographic.
Yep. And my parents did. Well, my parent.
Yeah. Oh, maybe both of them did.
Well, one's dead.
That's why. That's my point.
Oh, there you go. True. My dad would roll over in his grave. He would be Zombie Jerry, and he would come out and definitely haunt whoever voted for Harris in his name. So anyway, the problem is, unless they do something now, it is very unlikely that they're actually going to have to work hard for every single election moving forward. They can no longer rely on a system that's rigged to, bring out the best of the left, because they have big tech, they have big media. Their message is automatically in the zeitgeist. And also in the zeitgeist is how bad Trump and the red Republicans are. These Bible thumping, Republicans who want to make sure they want to monitor, according to the left, right? They want to monitor the location of every penis to make sure where it is and it is not. Very important to the Republicans if you're believing the left media. Likewise with kind of like all the other racist stuff that they like to purport. But now we're seeing finally a rebuking of that system, and will they ever get it back?
Yeah. So one thing along the same line of thought here is, I was talking with Jesse earlier. I asked him, what do you think was the most influential person in this election, right? Trump, RFK, or Musk? Because undoubtedly the three of them formed this really amazing alliance. And when we voted for Trump as president, we got three presidential candidates, basically. Three people that are going to be doing amazing things for this country in this administration. I don't think that RFK was as important as Trump, right? Trump undoubtedly was the reason for the movement, okay? But I think that an unsung hero, right? Musk, for sure. Like, I'm watching Rogan and Musk's interview from a couple days before, and Rogan makes this really strong point that if Musk had not bought Twitter, when he bought Twitter, we wouldn't have had any kind of insight into what the Democrats were doing with social media, with the FBI, with Facebook, with all of these pay-to-play schemes that they had going on, right? Where the FBI and the government were actively paying social media to censor certain voices. And not just a small amount of voices, a large amount of voices, right? Matt Taibbi did a really good job with that, Twitter files and Substacks. So if you're not familiar with it, you should dive into that. That's a couple years back now, but it's super important to realize how important that Musk was. I don't think that Donald Trump would have had a fighting chance without that happening. I really don't.
No. Well, that's a really good point. I think Trump needed another outlet, so he created Truth Social. Right,
yeah,
which is actually decently big. I personally don't use it.
It is big enough with conservatives, but I don't think it's as big as Twitter.
No. What's really interesting is while YouTube maintains a decently, solid split liberal conservative, their policies ensure that only liberal voices are heard broadly, while conservative voices are siloed, like ours and our channel. On Twitter, likewise. You could be liberal, you could be conservative, and there is I believe actually there's more on Twitter right now, on X, there's more liberal content than there is conservative, actually, I think by a fair margin. Yeah. And the algorithm does a good job of surfacing all of it. So even if you only want to consume conservative viewpoints, and you can work against the system and eventually work yourself into a silo, but it does a really good job of surfacing both. And I, as a regular user, as a super user of this shit, that I literally have this intravenously connected to my brain. I get 50-50. There are days where I open it up where it literally just kicks me off with just nothing but liberal talking points, which is fine. I definitely want to hear it.
You don't want to be in an echo chamber.
No. But right now it's kind of annoying because it's all this, Trump poisoned the water, Trump stole it somehow. We need investigations. We need recounts. It's like, guys,
what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that's illegal. We shouldn't question the election.
No. The pervasive.
I'm just repeating what we talked about in 2020.
They
not me and you, but just us as Americans.
That is a very common point right now, though. It's so ridiculous. They're like, yep. He somehow stole it. We need a complete recount. We need to look at everything forensically. It's like, okay, you can, but it's like at some point you have to just accept the results, and the results are a landslide victory for Trump.
Yeah, and Trump doesn't have the machine working for him, so you're going to be spinning your wheels for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's actually going to be
Kamala
really hard.
Harris had won this election, I would have been like, absolutely look into this crap.
Yeah, but the thing
and
is,
you can absolutely look into it now.
You can, and you can. And they're actually already starting, and they're starting to make it.
And they
easy.
should. They should.
CNN and I've been watching a lot of CNN and CNBC today. Because I was more interested in the final results of the gubernatorial races and some of the Senate and House seats.
Yeah.
So I had CNN on, and I flipped it over to CNBC. But they're already trying to stir up controversy. Both of them. They are literally saying that Trump won because of white, uneducated men, because we didn't know what he was doing, because that's what they're saying. And so they're pleading with the women to educate their men and their husbands and to show them the light. I'm not even joking. That's what's happening right now. It's ridiculous. And then on CNBC today, Powell gave the chair of the Fed came out and gave a speech, and then somebody randomly asked, like, hey, if Trump asked you to step down, would you? And his answer was no. Just like that. And then they moved on to the next question.
Yeah.
After the interview, CNBC, breaking headlines, Trump looking to, sack the Fed and, replace it with a, Trump supporter, blah, blah, blah. But Powell stands defiant. It's like, you got that from that exchange? Like, they're literally trying to push this narrative that Trump is coming after everybody. And it's like,
it's the manufactured chaos that they've been doing for 8 years. We're over it.
No, we're not.
We're over it.
We're literally not,
no,
though.
Me and you are over it. We see through their bullshit, right? The rest of everybody out there probably hasn't figured out the manufactured chaos. I don't know how, but
I don't know.
They're still in it too deep. They got to take a step back and realize that it's just manufactured chaos. Yeah, like all of that.
This is why
isn't actual factual news. It's just, I don't know, talking points. It's manufactured. It's not real.
This is why we are going to pop off so we can go build a fucking bar somewhere. A big one. Nice big bar like we've described previously, with a couple restaurants outside, with a taxi service and you name it. But on the inside of that goddamn bar is going to be a row of TVs where we can watch the news together, and you and I are going to be there, and we will host the goddamn conversation. And so that way when people come up and say stupid shit like that, we could be like, hey, let's just quickly look it up. Oh, that's not exactly what happened. Here's what really happened. And then we can call people out. And then, of course, we will hopefully get to a point where this fucking country comes back to some normalcy and where you and I can start disagreeing with each other again. That would be nice. I would love to disagree with you.
What if we never disagree again, Jesse?
Well, then we need to go find something else to talk about.
What if I go liberal and you go conservative? What if that happened? That'd be weird as fuck.
Yeah, except we both know that's never going to happen.
It might. It might.
You are far more right than I am.
Yes. But just like by probably 1 pixel.
Probably at this point. It's not even. I just feel betrayed. That's all it is.
Dude,
I feel so betrayed.
I have felt that way for so long because I actually really truly did believe in my government. I believed in my country. I served my country faithfully. I was like in it. I was 100%. There was like no way that the moon landing was fake. No way that 9/11 was an inside job. No way that my government is corrupt. I believe in the goodness of the government, right? No way. Then Trump gets into office, and it was just like this moment for me where I was like, I don't know that I trust anything anymore. Like I was taking a page out of your book, right?
Yeah.
I always think about that tattoo on your arm, and I'm like, don't believe the government. Don't trust the government, Yeah. And
the tattoo says question authority.
Yeah.
What it says for everybody else.
It was hilarious because he got that in 2012,
2011. Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere around in there. And he's like spewing all these Democratic talking points. And I'm like, look at your arm. Remember.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard.
It is.
If you question everything,
they get into your
exhausting.
head. They get into your head. They're like, you're a good boy. You're a smart boy. You want to do the good things.
Yeah.
This is the only way to be a good and smart boy.
Yeah.
And then you're in, Yeah. It's just the way that Americans work.
Yeah.
You want to be the bestest boy. You want to be the goodest boy.
Yeah.
And then they got you.
I mean, you're not wrong. Okay. So let's talk about another thing that's popped up today. So Trump is out there. He's well beyond, his acceptance speech, right? As far as he's concerned, he's the president, is what I'm saying. Okay.
Dude,
he's out there.
I'm telling you right now, the first indication that we knew that he was president, Hamas throwing in the surrender flag day one. They were like, we gotta make peace. We gotta end all hostilities.
Yeah. And Zelensky too.
Gaza.
Zelensky was out there.
One.
Zelensky today, or it might have been yesterday, depending on the time zone shift, same deal. He was saying, hey, I'm so proud that President Trump is going to be president again. He's such a strong and powerful leader. We need to draw this war to a close. Oh, really?
Please let go of my balls.
Yeah. Unprovoked, just like Hamas, unprovoked. He's like, Well, that's that. And so now he's got to figure out how in the next couple months he's going to secure as much territory in Ukraine as possible. And then it's it. That's it. That's what they're going to... the new lines in Ukraine will be drawn, and I'm sorry if you lost, but no more lives are going to be lost over there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Did you hear Trump's attack on the kind of like, gender reaffirming care today?
No.
So he came out
not.
and said that day one he will issue an executive order ending all gender reaffirming care coming from the government. That and he will seek congressional approval. He wants a bill on his desk, basically ensuring that the government will no longer subsidize through Medicare or Medicaid any gender reaffirming surgeries or treatments. If you want to do that, you can do it, but it's no longer considered healthcare. It is now considered elective.
It is an elective. It's an elective.
Additionally, nobody under the age of nobody who's a minor can basically pursue these options, right?
Good.
Like you have to be an adult to do these things.
Good.
He is no longer going to permit doctor hospitals to do these things with government funding. I just said that. And let's see here. What was the other thing? There's a lot he said about it, but basically it's over.
There's probably no huge kickbacks from the insurance companies that he's probably going to get rid of that crap.
He's building a department within the Department of Health that will basically establish a plan for all minors who went through this, who are now suffering as a result, to sue the doctors that did it to them.
Good.
Because he feels that they were rushed through the system because there's all these insurance gains to be had and windfalls if you're a doctor supporting this.
Oh yeah.
And so now he's going to help these people who are violated and mentally, fucked, to go and seek recourse fiscally. Because that's the best they can do at this point.
I honestly think, because you look at the suicide rates of that small bracket of society, and it's higher than veterans, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you need medical care and mental health care, that's what you need. You don't need somebody doing surgeries on you to get money from the medical industry.
Yep.
Right? It's just corporate welfare at its finest. Government subsidies and all this other government cheese bullshit.
Right.
So
that's
it's tragic.
He is
that this went this way.
It is really, really bad. It's this woke agenda went too far. So he is also again in the same speech, the United States, the federal government will only accept male and female genders. If you choose to be non-female, non-male, that's all on you. You go do. It's the land of the free. You can go do whatever you want. But when you're interacting with the federal government, thou shalt be male or female based on your birth certificate.
Nice.
End of story. And this is going to play huge in sports and all other arenas where there's
the
a
Olympics.
male or sports, exactly, and in anything where there's a significant biological advantage to being either male or female. So there's no need to cross-pollinating of the fucking of the arena, whatever it might be. He's done.
And there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to create a co-ed sport.
No, by all means.
Whoever wants to play in that league, go do it.
There are several, and they're lots of fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
There's no reason that the Olympics can't have a co-ed section.
No.
Go have fun.
Yeah. It's an entirely another bracket of sport, and I'm all for it. But men and women cannot compete in the same arena. It's the exact same reason why Williams said that she absolutely does not want to play against men, because she would be at the very bottom of the bracket. We're stronger and faster.
Serena Williams.
Right?
Yeah.
She said it.
And she's phenomenal.
She's the best female player in the game.
I watched a UFC match between two female UFC fighters that are trained professional fighters against a fat dude they pulled off the couch. Never had any fighting training at all. He kicked the ever living shit out of the two of them.
I'm not surprised. Right?
It is hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
I can't remember what third world European country it came out.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
It continues, though. Trump also mandating that basically school is no longer a place for transsexual education. A school is a place for just regular, your history and your maths and your languages and that kind of shit. If you want to go do if you want your child to learn everything there is to learn about transsexuality, you can do that on your own dime, not
homeschool,
not on the federal government.
Homeschool, man. Take your kid out of school. Take your school choice voucher that Trump is going to give you. And I think he's even going to write off like $10,000 in taxes for people that want to homeschool.
Yeah.
Right. So take all that money and then teach your kid whatever the hell you want outside of the school system. It's not that hard.
Yep. And again, I have nothing against trans people. Nothing.
Just do it on your own dime. Do it on your own dime.
Exactly. Kids need to learn how to be functional adults.
Yep.
They need
we have a serious problem with the youngest generation that's coming into the workforce right now.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the ass end of Generation Z they can't do work. They're having such a hard time dealing with the workforce because they're just not ready for it.
They're
in their 20s. They're in their 20s.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not a good look.
I'm not suggesting, and neither are you, that it has anything to do with the trans movement. It doesn't.
No.
But what the only correlation here is that more time needs to be spent on preparing these young men and women to enter the workforce or college, whichever direction they decide to go, the military perhaps.
Yeah.
And less on, the extreme minority of our population.
I am over the moon with Trump's idea of getting rid of the government Department of Education, right? He wants to wax it, turn it back over to the states, and give everybody these school choice vouchers so that they can go wherever they need to go. Like when I was in high school, man, I needed something like that. I could not focus. I was bored. I didn't have anybody to explain to me why it was important to go to college, right? I had a terrible GPA. I literally had like a 1.98 GPA in high school because I wanted to figure out how to skip school more than I actually wanted to go to school. I wanted to read a book and play video games. That's all I wanted to do in high school. I was terrible at it because nobody could tell me how to operate that stuff. It wasn't in my 30s that I became good at school, and then I graduated with like a 3.98 GPA out of college. So complete black and white difference in my mentality. And I don't know what changed. Maybe it's just as a male, my brain fucking finally developed in my mid 30s. I don't know.
It's not easy. And I think luckily a whole bunch is going to change. Luckily with education, with AI. AI is going to transform the name of the game. It's going to be personalized. Kids are going to learn the things that they're passionate about, to include the things that, again, they're going to be fundamental to their success, amongst their fellow humans. I'm excited for it. There's nothing but good stuff coming down the road.
Yeah, everything that I'm looking at from an objective standpoint, I'm not seeing any downfalls to society, right? Trump is championing everything that you could ever want with respect to our government, even healthcare and everything else. Like, he is there for it. So everybody should be really effing excited about this. The only people that should be sad were the ones that were making tons of money off the federal government. Yeah. You should be sad.
Dude, here's the problem with woke culture, okay? Aside from, all the emotionally vulnerable men, which drives me fucking nuts. Don't get me wrong, okay? Men should feel the need to cry and be vulnerable. I am not one of them. I don't feel the need to cry. I have been wounded. I have been in motorcycle accidents. My father died unexpectedly. Bad shit happens. And as a guy, I have a way of resolving it. I repress that shit. We drink, we do the thing, and then we fucking get over it and move on. That's just me personally. Okay, I don't feel the need to go find therapy, and I don't need the need to go find a shoulder to cry on. I might be unique. I don't know. I just say, hey, I'm a guy, and this is just how I deal with it. I'm going to deal with it, and then I'm going to move on. But this woke movement is basically giving these guys the impression that you should be weak, you should be vulnerable, and they're teaching that to their kids, and their kids are coming out pussies. I'm sorry to say it, and it's not good. It's not good. And so with this, we need to tilt back in the other direction. Men need to be masculine. Men need to be strong. Men need to be leaders. Men need to be competitive. It's in our blood. It's in our testosterone. And, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm hoping that a changing government, now that we have a strong masculine president, will help push that agenda. Now I remember my point. Watching the stuff coming out of X, watching all these men, on their TikTok, on their X or whatever it is, they're broadcasting live, crying in the van with their children before they go to school today. I was so depressed and angry at the same time. I wanted to just teleport to that spot and slap that man, just a whack. Get your shit together, dude. Get out there and kick some ass today. Don't sit here and wallow with your children. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Go make some money. Go support your family.
Yeah.
Go do good things.
You have things to do.
Teach people good lessons.
Yeah.
Go
be the
patriarch. Be a positive force in the country and the world today.
I'm not trying to sound bigoted or mean-spirited. I'm not. Again, men have a role in society. Stop trying to be something that you're not. By all means, if you are that kind of guy, if you're just soft-natured, ultra thin-skinned, then life's going to be hard, because there's guys out there that are not thin-skinned that are going to enjoy being competitive, and they're going to just dance all over your tears.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad that we're turning a page as a country, because we need to. Because the Germans are laughing at us right now.
I love quoting Kamala Harris. So we're going to turn the page, and we're going to do good things for the country.
Candace Owens endorsed Alex Jones to be the press secretary.
Dude, I lost it.
That is probably
like
the single
second
best
or
idea.
Third person that I've seen. I don't know if she was the first. I don't know who said it first. It's the best idea I've ever heard in my entire life.
I literally can't think of another idea right now.
Also, we need sanity.
No.
Right? We need some. We need some, right? Because it's not just the Trump voter that voted for Trump, right? We've got all walks that voted for Trump. So we need somebody that can kind of push the narrative that the Republicans are not just being Nazis and running the show now that they've got all of the power.
So, okay. Yay, Zach's being level-headed here. Awesome. Okay. This is very rational.
That wasn't
of you,
me
sir.
just pandering to the audience. It's let's just, let's do good things and go into this eyes wide open and not make a circus out of it. Because Alex Jones is good at two things: saying the truth in a circus style manner, but being so good at finding the truth.
I mean, he's certainly one of the biggest clowns I've ever met.
He's inflammatory. He's
considers
inflammatory.
himself ultra serious. And that's what makes him so good. Is he thinks he's so fucking serious, and all the shit that comes out of his mouth, 90% of it, for me personally, I just completely wipe off the board and I try to get to some truth of something. Anyway, I agree with you. If you remember Kayla McEnany, she was the last press secretary Trump had. She was vicious.
She is awesome. I love watching. I hope I like, because we only got a year of her. I would love to see her come back as press secretary, because she just eviscerated the press. Yes. She eviscerated them. And it was awesome to watch. Every single day, I would be like, I'm going to tune into this White House press briefing, because this is going to to be awesome.
However, Alex Jones would just be the best.
Alex
she's good,
Jones would be.
But Alex Jones is so far way off the charts in terms of just epic, professional, cameraman that nobody can beat him.
I would appreciate the level of trolling that was happening when he walked out to the podium on the first day. I would appreciate it. I would be like, this is a standing ovation level trolling. But then I would want him to go away and somebody
The
normal
press
to
would
come
never
out.
mess with him though, because he
The
would
press
yell
would
at
mess
them.
with him all day.
I think they would get
just be
tired.
screaming. They would scream at each other.
He is.
Him and Jake Tapper or whoever the freaking
Dude,
hell.
he's so eloquent though, and he's
yeah.
so sharp-minded. This guy, and he's got a mind
He
like
is
a dictionary.
He is quick.
He remembers
He
things
is.
from 40 years ago, like it happened yesterday.
Yeah.
He would talk circles around everybody in that room. Like he
Yeah.
would remember every single thing that those people had said in every previous comment ever made in the press secretary booth. They would say some stupid shit, and he would just quote them from a different thing and just turn it on. Anyway, I agree with you largely. But still, it will never ever happen. However, I love the idea.
But I understand that raw, visceral appeal of having somebody like Tom Holman walk into ICE director or whatever, director of Homeland Security even, right? And then freaking Alex Jones walking out to the press podium. I love the thoughts of it. I love it. It tickles me.
Yep.
Right.
Where is Dana White going to land in this administration?
I think he still does what he does. You know, he's probably just hanging out with the press.
Maybe, but he could land himself. I would not be surprised to see him doing something. I'm just saying.
Maybe. I mean, he might be vetting people with Don Jr.
Maybe.
You know, the real question is Tucker Carlson going to do anything?
I don't know. He could also be another amazing press secretary.
That's what I'm saying, right? He would be an amazing press secretary.
Yep.
I don't know what level you take a press secretary at, you know, because most press secretaries are kind of relatively unknown. They're just a spokesperson to the president.
Yeah.
I know they've got a very serious job. I'm not, saying that they're a peon or anything like that. It's just most of the time they're relatively unknown people. So
True.
I don't know if you get a big name headline person as press secretary.
And honestly, like it's a full-time job. And so somebody like whoever you just
Alex
said,
Jones or
like,
Tucker Carlson.
they can't do it, right?
No.
They can step in from time to time. Big announcement, let them do it. That'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Hilarious to see Alex Jones just step in there for one day and be like, "What up, bitches?"
Did you hear? Also, I think this was yesterday. Trump called for, he's like, on January 20th or whatever, 21st, when he steps into the Oval Office, he expects the resignation of every senior military member who was involved in the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Good.
And that is sweet. He said they're all fired, they're all done by noon that day. Some of them there might be additional charges because it was just so flagrantly, just by design, disastrous.
Had a really good plan in place. Everybody ignored the signs that they should have adjusted the plan for the fact that Biden wanted a pullout date on an anniversary day for publicity. Every single military personnel involved in that should have been like, no, fuck off. Like, they have a responsibility. Biden has a responsibility to his soldiers and his sailors. Yeah, and he was like, fuck it. We don't need that shit. It makes me really, really sad that something like that happened. And I'm glad that Trump is asking for their resignation. And I'm glad to see a president, anyone in the government fire someone and say, you are not welcome here anymore. Your time in service, get it.
Yep. So that will be a healthy cleansing. That will be very healthy cleansing. Speaking of healthy cleansings, RFK yesterday was on the news, and he was asked, obviously, so what are your plans for the FDA? And he's like, leadership is done. He's replacing the entire senior leadership team. Everybody who heads a department, doesn't matter what department you're in, you're probably under the FDA, you're done.
Good.
It's all been so poorly managed, he can't stand it. And then he went on to say that he kind of danced around it, but the Human Foods Program, the Nutrition Center of Excellence, the Office of Nutrition and Food Labeling, and the Office of Critical Foods are going to be completely dissolved and rebuilt.
Good.
They're done. And so
Good.
I don't know how many people that roughly means, but I mean, this is crazy. This is on top of the Doge, right? Which is going to go in there and do damage. Okay, just work with me here. When when Elon Musk bought Twitter, there's roughly 78,000 people that work for Twitter.
Yeah.
After the end of a couple months, there was 1.8 thousand employees left. So we let go about 5,000 people out of an 8,000 people party thing. So a little more than 20% gone, right? So if Doge does something similar in the federal government, we're talking about 154 million useless bodies. That
right now in the federal government, we have 2.87 million employees. Okay.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. It's like, 1 point. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.8, almost 2.9 million, almost 3 million government employees right now. All right. And they're going to be going to the private sector from there.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's a lot of people.
Good. It is a lot of people, but I mean, it's not that many people at the same time.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's a lot of people in the DC area.
How many million people work for the federal government?
3 million people
work
for the federal government.
Yeah. So 20% of 3 million is what, 2.5? Something like that. I can't. My thing just totally broke here. Just a second.
But it's going to be pretty spectacular to see that happen at a federal level, where we get rid of all these people whose salaries that we're paying, and most of them are probably making 100,000, at a time. But I'm pretty excited for it.
Yes. So it's pretty massive I don't think that Elon Musk is going to literally go up there and fire 1.53 million people. I don't think that's going to happen. But it demonstrates to us that there could be up to 1.5 million people operating in the federal government directly responsible or directly contributing to the overregulation of Americans. You, me, everybody listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Like, imagine a great example of this is if you're working for tips right now, 80,000 people were just hired to ensure that you pay taxes on those tips. Yeah. Is that justice? Is that right? Yeah. No. It is not.
And the sad thing too is that they're talking about going after people for Venmo charges. $600 a month or something like that in Venmos, and you have to start paying taxes on that. So I don't know how much more along the same line that you have, but more things that are happening currently already. He's not even in office yet, right? New York City, Eric Adams, right, announced that it will no longer provide vouchers to migrants for food. That happened today. Okay. That's huge.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. That is not even the tip of the iceberg. That's like the snow cap of the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're talking about Mayorkas is done. Mayorkas needs to go find a new country to live in, is what needs to happen. I hope he is literally run out of this fucking country, that treasonous bastard.
Yeah,
I have nothing good to say about him. Nothing.
Yeah. The fact that he was able to stand there for 4 years collecting a paycheck and not doing any goddamn work.
Oh, he was doing work.
You're right. He was doing work, actively impeding government employees from doing their job.
He was helping ship money from Americans inflicted by disaster to illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy to see all of these people getting removed and fired that have been doing just terrible things for this country for the last 3-4 years almost now.
And I want to be clear, though. Alejandro Mayorkas, again, he can go kindly fuck himself. If you're an illegal immigrant and you make it into this country and you're captured, and you're forced to leave, we're not gonna. We should absolutely make sure you're not hurt under our watch. You need to be fed, homed, all that stuff while you're leaving. But you're going to be in a prison-like system, but you're going to be escorted out the fuck of the country. But we're not going to kill you while you're here. We're not going to hurt you while you're here. We're just going to make sure you're exit, right? It's part of your punishment. Right. But yeah, it's just like people have forgot what sovereignty is. Yeah. This woke movement has forgot what it means to be a country. They don't want borders. They want open borders. They want everybody to go wherever they want. And that's so idealistic. I love that for them. I love that they're that naive and they live in such a blissful world.
It's not a real thing, man. Like,
nope.
Anybody who's ever thrown a house party knows that you can't just let everybody walk into the house party. You wouldn't have any alcohol. All your shit would be fucking gone. Yep. Like, somebody would steal all your pharmaceuticals out of the cabinet. Like, use a little bit of common sense, people.
And that's just a house
party. For Christ's
party.
sakes. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's a house party.
Yeah.
When you're in your 20s.
Yep.
You just can't let everyone fucking come into your house.
Yep.
They will consume every single last bit of your resources immediately.
Oh yeah.
You won't have anything. You won't even have ketchup left in your fridge.
We were talking about this prior to going live, but I'm talking with a bunch of my college buddies who I find myself, I'm the only one actually who is who voted Trump. And mind you, these are people who live in one of the reddest states and some of the reddest counties, who are in the military, who are doing, agricultural work. I mean, nothing makes sense. But apparently they all voted for Harris somehow. To be fair, they're all married and have kids, so maybe that plays into it somehow. I really don't know. But I don't know. So anyway, we were talking about this, and I say things like this, like we're America for Americans first, and they get all bent out of shape. And it's like, guys, you all pay taxes. You have kids. You're going to have Social Security. What if something bad happens, right? You need to go to the hospital. Like, what is it okay that, the hospital's gummed up with illegal immigrants who, are seeking free health care while you're paying into a system and you're inevitably going to pay a shit ton of cash anyway? But now you have to wait. You might get turned away entirely. Does that make sense to you? Your kids aren't going to have an adequate education because as opposed to a class with 20 kids and one teacher, there's a class of 50 kids and one teacher, and that teacher has to speak in 2 different languages. Is that fair to your kids?
Minimum speaking 2 different languages.
And they think I'm a bigot. It's like, guys, we can't fix the world. Let's fix America. They're like, no, Jesse, no, we need to do better as a country. I agree. But can we start with you and me and then go worry about, Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico, the Congo, the DRC, Angola, the world's tormented places? Let's go to them after we just fix Georgia and Tennessee. Is that okay? No, Jesse, it's not.
For what it would cost, I've got so many things that I could talk to about all of that stuff. But for what it would cost to house 40 million migrants in the United States, right? At 20 million migrants right now, it's $451 billion annually.
Oof.
Okay. 451.
For how many migrants?
20 million migrants.
All right.
What we currently have, it's going to cost us roughly $451 billion annually.
That's what has just come into the country for the last 4 years.
That is just what's come into the last 4 years. $451 billion. A House investigation panel or whatever they're called just came out with that number. That's healthcare, that's housing, that's food, that's all the education, that's everything. That's the whole enchilada. $451 billion fucking dollars. Okay. And a reporter was like, well, to deport everybody, it's going to cost us $88 billion annually. So, like, what do you want? I was like, look at the 2 fucking numbers. Which one do you want? Like, obviously, let's go for the lower number.
Right.
And guess what? Every year it's going to get smaller and smaller. And that $451 billion that we're also paying on top of the 88, well, we're deporting everybody's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Why wouldn't you want to go for that?
Trump is not going to allow that number to exist. There's no way he's going to let that number. He's going to see that number and be like, all those programs, cut.
But
executive order.
Yeah, to what my point is specifically, how much good do you think we could do in all of these countries throughout the world by giving that $451 billion fucking dollars to each individual country throughout the world and ensuring that that aid gets put to use building schools and good education systems and businesses in the country that these people are fleeing from because they have shitty economics? Trump could fucking do some real good for the world by teaching other people how to fish in their own goddamn countries instead of coming here begging for a fish.
Right.
Okay. It's pretty simple to wrap your brain around that kind of a fucking fact.
The irony of that.
My money goes really far in El Salvador. I'll tell you that.
The irony of that statement is that's literally what Biden asked Harris to do.
I know.
I know. She fled. She's like, I can't do it.
She just come on up here. I'll help you out up here instead.
Jesus Christ.
I can't be bothered to travel.
She can't be bothered to go to Europe. Texas.
I haven't been to Europe either.
Did she go visit the border in Texas? Is that where? Or, sorry, in Arizona? Was it Arizona or New Mexico?
It was maybe California.
It was somewhere in the Southwest anyway, dude. And it looked like that was to her, she was going to the third world. So she's like, oh my God, where am I, guys? Look at this border.
Just recently after she became president. I thought you were talking about the one where she finally went after 2.5 years of being border czar.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Did you watch the video? She's down there. She's got all these guards. She's got all these people escorting her around. She's like, oh, look at this. That's sand. This is a real Southwest rock, guys. It's like, oh my God. How are you a person?
Disconnected from reality.
And
none of it really matters. And then
not anymore.
Along that line of thought that nothing really matters, we're finally seeing all of these indictments against Trump dropped.
Yeah.
Right? DOJ's like, we don't really, investigate sitting presidents or president-elect, so we're just going to let it go. And it's like, you didn't have a case to begin with. You were just manufacturing bullshit. So yeah, you got to let it go.
Right.
Fantastic. Thanks for not wasting more government money on political freaking indictments. Like I'm super happy to see that happen.
They're still Letitia James. Okay.
Letitia
James.
Yeah. Trump's lawyer came out and was like, if you don't drop this suit, your fat ass is going to be in some serious trouble. He said that on television.
What was the quote?
I'll pull it up right now because I was like looking at it. All right. Listen here, sweetheart. We're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison. End quote.
Wow.
Straight up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I was like, what? Why would you say that on television? But, whatever. To each their own.
Yep. No, she knows she's in trouble. I mean, after
she knew she was in trouble when New York justices were like, can you show us one single precedent of anything like this ever happening in the history of the country nationwide? Please show us something. Otherwise, we're going to sanction the shit out of you. And she was like, well, in other news, I would like to argue why you shouldn't sanction me.
Yes, this is, of course, where she was trying to pin Trump on a case for misrepresenting his finances to a bank after the bank loved the loan, loved the money they made off the loan, loved Trump for paying off the loan, and under the term of the length of the loan, and the bank was like, please stop prosecuting our customer.
They came to his defense.
Yeah.
In the trial, they were like, there's no problem here. Trump, please continue to do business with us. Yeah. In the trial.
Yeah, fucking Letitia James, man. Most like, what is she doing? Like, you imagine if you make it to the AG of anywhere, you should take your profession seriously and really
I think
believe.
she's running for office the same way that most of these AGs are. Look at Harris.
But like,
she was constantly looking for the next office.
I get
Same thing with Hillary Clinton.
But
every time she's been in office, she's just been looking for the next position. She's never been doing their job. Right, she didn't do a good job as Secretary of State. She's never done a good job in anything she's ever done. So I firmly think that like these AGs that are ineffective, like Letitia James and Kamala Harris, they're just looking for the next position when they're holding that. So they got to be political and do all these stunts.
Maybe I still don't understand it. When you dedicate yourself to a profession, you typically hold its core values very close to your own. And so, like, if
that's your perception.
That is my perception. And so, but here's my background is military, right, and the State Department.
Yeah.
And those people were ultra serious. Like for example, the Department of State, they all represented the government. And so, when it was time for elections and stuff like that, they never spoke ill about any party. They did their job, and they did it as professionally as possible, regardless of who the candidate, whoever the president was that they liked or did not like. It didn't matter to them. They did their job to the best of their ability to make that him or her look as good as possible. Yeah. And that's so. Anyway, then we go to the military, and for the most part, the same thing. The more senior somebody was in the military, the more I respected them because they would lead with authority. They would lead with empathy. They would lead with expertise, and they were very driven, and they were with what they were doing. They were super serious about it. It's like, damn, not our chief, of course, but others.
I was thinking about old Izzy too.
Oh, dude, you know what's funny? he was a weird dude, but he fucking loved the Coast Guard.
Yeah, he did.
Loved it. Like he would have. Like he was not going anywhere. He was
his
staying
poodle
there.
and biker drag was the best, though.
Dude. But in all seriousness, right? That guy he would have us line up, and we would do uniform inspections.
Oh, yeah,
he wanted us looking good.
Yeah.
He wanted us looking good and representing his unit, even though he was a quirky dude.
He was quirky.
He was one of my. I'm not gonna lie. Him, I don't know how Izino and Javier, our shop chief and our shop supervisor, managed to find themselves in life. It's like a Dr. Seuss story. Like polar opposites, both clowns going to war. Oh my God, it was so good. Oh, yeah. I miss those. That was probably the best year and a half of my life.
Yeah.
Just watch it. How many popcorn moments did we have?
The most.
Dude, we would just be enjoying lunch already, and then these two would come into the shop and then just start going to war in front of us. And we'd all swivel our chairs around, continue eating, and just watch the show. And it's just like, this is amazing. This is probably the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Nothing will ever top the comedy of this moment. Sorry,
Nope.
Dave Chappelle. You're a legend, you're a god, but you're not Zeno versus Javier. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, nobody understands what the fuck we're talking about, but it's just those human moments that just really make life great.
Agreed.
Okay, can I shift topics?
Okay.
Currently, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Justice, Labor, Interior, and Agriculture, the National Labor Relations Board, the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Federal Trade Communication. Do you know what all of those 10 agencies and departments have in common?
No. They're going to get axed?
They're all actively pursuing lawsuits with a Elon Musk company.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Tesla is under 7 active investigations from a smattering of those. SpaceX is 6 as well. Neuralink 2 and X2. Right?
Oh, baby.
They're all done. They're all the January. I don't know if they don't resolve now or they're going to try and get something done before the 20th. But January is it 20 when they come online?
January 20th, yeah.
January
20th is the inauguration, and then 21st is game on, baby.
Yeah.
So, in this same vein, typically this is where presidents decide that they're lame ducks and they want to just have fun. In the last 2 months, they kind of do their pardons and they just take tours and shake hands, kiss babies, say goodbye.
Right.
This is been floated around a few times on the internet, and I genuinely actually kind of worries me is how much damage this administration can do in the next 2 months to hand a steaming pile of shit over to Donald Trump so that it is physically impossible for him to fix it in 4 years.
I have heard this.
Okay. That is a terrifying thought that anyone in their right minds who loved this country would ever do. And then I was like, well, this administration doesn't love America, do they? So, holy fucking shit. Strap fucking your seatbelts on and let's see how wild this ride's going to get. Right? Like, I am genuinely nervous about.
I don't think they're going to scuttle the ship, man. And first of all, they can't. They can do.
They shouldn't.
I don't think they can, because them scuttling the ship is literally Trump, and then the ship goes away when the new cabinet comes in. They can make all their things, but guess what? Elon's going to do anyway. He's going to fire everybody. All the scuttling that they do, it doesn't fucking matter.
I hear you, but it's kind of like, how much damage can they do and then make Trump have to try to save the sinking ship?
Dude,
while
he's going to have
also
the House,
trying to salvage it.
He's going to have the executive, the House, and the Senate. He's got the judiciary as well. I mean, there's literally all they can do is ruin their own reputation. That's it. I don't think. I think it is.
I like what you're saying, and I agree with it. I see the logic.
How?
I see the logic, but I'm also like terrified of the deep state. I am terrified. After everything that I've seen happen since, 2015, okay? Because I was like, always like, there can't be another layer, and then there's a fucking another layer of shit, right? And so it's just got me thinking, and it's like something that I'm like, I need to keep my eyes open because there could be more, It's kind of one of those, but wait, there's more moments that I don't want to see come to pass.
Okay, so let's just think about it, though. You're terrified of the deep state. I think the worst thing they could do, and if we're going to be, things that the deep state might do, and in all honesty, assassinate RFK. They've already killed his dad and his uncle.
Yeah.
Knock out this dude, too. They already know it. They've already done it twice. Why not?
Trump and Musk.
Do it again.
Trump and Musk.
Trump, easy. I think Trump might be the only one to survive. Because Alex Jones has been like, I don't know if you know this, but he has been helping with his security. And like, hey, I have watched a bazillion assassinations. Here's how they do it. Yeah. This is what you need to do, right? You only eat McDonald's. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, Elon is super vulnerable, massively vulnerable. Yeah. So you take out those two people, and then whatever he thought he was going to get done is basically over. Right?
It is drastically reduced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
drastically reduced.
But
so that's one avenue, right?
That's I think that's the only one. If we're going to be real,
one avenue, but like tanking the economy, right? Because you kind of see Jay Powell coming out and talking about how they're not going to reduce the interest rates anymore.
No, in December. They're coming out with another one in December.
Did they just change it? Because I just heard today. I just heard today that they were not going to do any more for a little bit because he's liking the interest rates and the inflation numbers shrinking, but he's not liking the job numbers being stagnant. So,
right, which requires another drop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
because there were four.
Positive he
there
said
were
he
four
needed
planned. There were four planned,
mm-hmm.
and I think that they scrapped some of them at least.
So 25 basis points today, and then I think Ian, correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I'm just looking the fuck up.
I'm gonna look it up right now too. So you talk for a second.
All right. So while you're looking up, I think there's going to be another 25 point basis reduction in December or January as well. I think that was the plan, and he says he's going to stick to the plan. Because again, they have to continue correcting things. I could be mistaken. I was watching CNBC, the live thing, but or his live presentation, but I was also working and eating. It was a very, very busy lunch. I had teriyaki and it was good.
Ooh.
Yep. In any case, so while you're looking that up though, I don't think the Fed. If I'm the Fed, I'm not worried about Trump. I'm worried about Ron Paul.
Oh yeah.
Ron Paul.
He has been salivating. He has had the biggest fucking hard on for the Fed,
He's
auditing the Fed for
Yeah.
30 freaking years.
It's the only reason he's still alive. You know, it's literally it. That courses through his veins.
This is like Ron Paul, okay, joining in with this alliance to do government rehabilitation, basically.
Yeah.
Is one of the greatest moments. It's just like RFK taking over the health of the country and Musk doing the Doge. Like Ron Paul coming in and auditing the Fed is going to be one of the greatest things that's ever happened to this country. You're right. So there was a rate cut today, and then they're leaving the door open for more rate cuts in the future, but they don't have anything planned. They're talking maybe rate cuts through the end of 2026, but they don't have anything specifically planned because they're just going to take it day by day. Maybe one in December. So you were right on that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where things are going, and that's fine. You know, we need to.
Yeah.
The economy is still recovering, right? You already saw. I mean, for everybody who's not watching, the markets have skyrocketed. Crypto is skyrocketing. Tech up through the roof. Nasdaq through the roof. With the announcement that Trump's coming back, because I mean, honestly, they know he's going to basically deregulate things and let money move, let people be innovative again, without having to worry about crazy loophole laws that are catch-22. You can't win them even if you try. You know,
damn, dude, it was another good day in the stock market today.
Massive day.
The last 3 days have been fantastic,
dude. I caught Tesla at 220. I just happened to be listening to CNBC when they're talking about Elon doing like an after hours, conference call with some people. So I went on to X. I had it open already because I was watching election stuff. Joined the call, and he was talking about how Tesla's numbers are like way better than anybody could have possibly projected. And I was like, oh shit. So I moved over to my Fidelity account. And right when I started those numbers start to go up in the aftermarket, I just moved a lot of money right into Tesla at about 220 to 225. It's now 290. It closed like 290 today. I was like, oh,
high five.
Bam. Thank you, Elon. So anyway, but the point is this. It's not that Jesse's making some money. It's that the perception of a strong, government that is pro-America is driving people to reinvest. It's like, okay, great. We can put our money back in America knowing it's going to be marshaled well.
Exactly. Because he's talking about putting all of these initiatives forward, tariffs, all of these things. He's like, you want a competitive market back in America? I'm going to bring it to you. Invest your money here in America, not in Mexico and all of these other countries where you can get slave labor and cheaper property, real estate, and taxes and stuff like that. But invest here in America and we'll do right by you.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
I mean, America's hungry for business.
It's going to be really good, bring really good jobs back to America that need to be here. Because we need competition to drive up wages and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm looking at the list of things I wanted to talk about during the podcast. And it was a whole bunch of stuff. You could tell I was gearing up for a too big to rig conversation, right? And potential election interference and malarkey. But all of this has come to pass.
I know. I there was a lot that I had written down in my notebook about Kamala Harris and a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, well, none of that matters anymore.
It doesn't. It's so nice, man. It's such a relief. This is episode 25. This is to our 25th episode. We started this after July 13th, after Trump was almost killed. We recognized that now's the time to start speaking and to at least get our voices recorded in perpetuity, because something bad is happening in America. Something very evil is trying to take out a citizen, a former president who's literally speaking on our behalf, Right?
Yeah.
This is a billionaire who's literally taking shots now. People are trying
Yeah.
to kill him, and he's pursuing the presidency anyway. Why? And so that's where it started.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
And it's crazy.
It's a relief.
When we started this podcast, we had full intentions of having discourse from two different sides, and slowly but surely, it's just been one thought process.
Yeah.
And almost there's times when Jesse's more conservative than me. I'm like, who are you?
No, it's funny because actually I was a bunch of the college friends, as I was saying earlier, we no longer could discuss politics anymore because they're too offended. But I was we were talking, and like honestly, where I was liberal, you would now consider me, central, leaning conservative easily up until a couple months ago, and now I am full on protectionist. And it's not like I want the United States to be this, this isolationist country, but goddamn, man, we need to raise the force field and fix the mess within. That's what it is. We need whatever it takes to heal
let's
America.
get our house in order.
Yeah.
Let's get our house in order, and then we can continue doing some good stuff around the world. Like,
Exactly.
Why is that hard to get behind?
Right.
That shouldn't be a hard sell to anyone in this country. So I don't know if you ever follow like the Babylon Bee or anything like that, right?
I do.
So they put out this thing today or yesterday, maybe. Trump defeats Kamala, Hollywood, news media, deep state, FBI, universities, DOJ, political experts, science, medical community, all of Diddy's homies.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah. It's hilarious, man.
Can we now there's two things. I'm fairly convinced that none of this is going to come to anything. Not going to come to a head at all. But under Trump, we might actually see the Epstein list prosecuted.
Dude.
I don't think so. I give it I'm going to be honest with you. I'll give you 1 to 10 odds that something happens. Like if you want to put money on it.
More investigation and money has been spent on investigating a fucking squirrel than anyone on Epstein's list.
That is to say, no money has been spent on the Epstein list. Maybe just
correct.
covering it up and not doing anything.
That is correct.
Collecting all artifacts about it and putting it into a deep recess, deep safe in the back of the building.
They've got all of the CIA knows everything already.
It's a
Man,
CIA
you don't think that Epstein wasn't a CIA?
No, I do think so. But now
100%
I guarantee
he
you
was.
the CIA is like, our shit has been on the market. Now we need to put it into a box and put it in the back of the Smithsonian with the giant swords and the skeletons of the giants.
Yeah.
That's where it's sitting
They're
right
gonna put it right into the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm. Where we're not allowed to go.
Trump came out pretty strongly. I think Tom Holman also came out pretty strongly and said, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're coming for you towards the cartels. And I'm like 90% positive the CIA runs the cartels, right? Because they love drug trafficking money, because that's how they can fund their operations. I mean, you saw what they did with crack in the United States.
Yep. So
like, how hard is it to think that they're not doing it with fentanyl?
No.
Right now?
It's already broke several times, but just nobody can prosecute the CIA. Nobody can do it. There's no legal avenue to go tackle the CIA because the CIA will disappear you. Right? You end up in a prison in the middle of the Arabian desert.
Let's see what Trump's got up his sleeves.
Dude, it's RFK. So RFK is going to go deal with this. But the thing is, like, I don't know what he's going to be focused on. Is he going to be focused on family trauma, or is he going to be focused on, the cartels?
I think that RFK has the ability to move past his personal stuff in betterment of the country. Just watching some of the stuff that RFK has talked about and done, his concession speech, everything, I actually kind of feel bad because I didn't pay as much attention to RFK as I should have before he conceded to Trump. To be honest with you, I've been 100% Trump, and nobody else could even move my scale since, I don't know, probably 2020. And I wish I had paid more attention to RFK. Not that I would have voted any other way than I voted for the last 8 years, but I've been really truly impressed with RFK as a person. It's kind of like makes me a little sad that I didn't see it before he conceded. So
I mean, we talked about it though. Remember, we talked about it during COVID. I mean, literally on my desk, I have 2 RFK books just sitting here. I mean, because like the guy, it was so great about an RFK book. For those of you who haven't bought one yet, or not that you need to. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, the guy he offers really polarizing opinions about things, but it's the references. Like he does not like I can open up to a random page in any one of his books, and it's just nothing. But I mean, you can't really see it, but it's just nothing but references. Just a random page, all references to the studies he's talking about. And so you don't have to take him by his word. And he doesn't want you to. He wants you to go do the research. And so
he wants you to use your brain and go to the primary source and read some stuff and open your fucking eyes.
Thanks to RFK. I don't know if you're tracking this right now, but there's a new medical protocol involving ivermectin and fenbendazole that is destroying cancer. It is very likely that this new train of research is going to upend the chemotherapy industry, and it is an industry. It's $1 trillion industry.
It is an industry.
You will now. The idea is that basically, if you're human, you just take this mixture of fenbendazole and ivermectin once a week, and it kind of acts like the biology of an elephant. Because I don't know if you know this, but elephants don't get cancer. It's a genetic, power that they have. Hey, Ingrid. So anyway,
what's up, Ingrid?
You take these two things together, and your body just naturally fights and resolves any sort of cancerous cells in your body.
That's fascinating.
And so you just, as opposed to fighting cancer, you just prevent cancer like you would malaria. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. And it costs you, it's something like per week, something like $6-7.
I wish they would have put that in the water instead of fluoride.
Hey, I agree. So anyway, that's what we're getting up for it right now. So I just ordered a bunch of fenbendazole. I need to find a place to go get a steady supply of ivermectin. And then, the fam's going to start taking it. And we're just going to, every Sunday, just do it. Could be used to do it for malaria with doxychloroquine. When we're living in West Africa. And so this is going to be the new regimen. Just don't get cancer anymore.
It's a good regimen.
Way, it's super, super cheap. If you're interested, I can tell you after this.
Yep. I would love to hear that. Okay. Don't want to get us banned where we might even have to cut that section out.
No, fuck that. Let's just give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. It's literally, it's actually science. It's not like we're going crazy.
Let's break that section off into its own episode.
We didn't use the V word.
2 hours of recorded shit ban like we did with Carlos's episode.
We did not mention the V word. Okay, we literally just mentioned some
anything that fucks with big pharma. Anything that fucks with big pharma is a big no-no on YouTube.
This is true.
So we got to be real careful,
dude. We're gonna get banned. It's just a matter of time.
You want to poke the bear.
When are we gonna get banned? Do we do it now, or do we do it later? It's at some point we're gonna say something's gonna piss somebody off, and we're gonna get banned, and you and I are just not gonna care enough to go resolve it anymore. Well, actually, we're on the last strike. We can't even resolve it anyway. We'll just get gone. Oh God! Did you?
I am terribly sick of citing sources so that social media will be like, oh, okay, they are actually aware of what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah,
they're not just soapbox.
we will just start the transfer to Rumble. We'll start moving everything over. We need to do it. We need to.
100%. It's just I feel bad because Jesse does the 80% of the work behind the scenes on this. I just show up and chit chat with him
and look sexy.
I got to get a haircut. I finally got one booked.
So do I. All right. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover this fine evening?
No, I don't think so. Other than some trolling memes. Nancy Pelosi crying at Kamala Harris's speech.
I mean, it's all over for her. I mean, she'll be wrong. She'll still be in Congress. She'll still have her her hookups. She'll still make lots of money.
The last thing I do want to talk about,
All right.
right, is that moment when, what's the CNN anchor that goes over the map with Jake Tapper?
John King.
John King. So they're sitting there talking about it, and they're like, let's just pull up the stats for where Kamala Harris did better than Biden in 2024 versus 2020. And they're like, and let's just wait till this goes away on the East Coast so that we can see nothing, huh? Yeah, not one spot. Not one spot.
They all sat there in silence for like 2 seconds.
Jake was like, what? Not one tiny little,
not a single state anywhere, and
not
then,
a single county,
and then
anywhere in the country.
John King was like, well, this is overperformed by 3%, and then 3%, yeah,
3%, yeah.
That was hilarious.
It's awesome.
I mean, at some point, CNN has to recognize that they're losing viewership, that their liberal policies and whatnot, the ones that they espouse, were just voted out of the Senate, the House, and the executive. So if you're a company and it is your objective to get viewers, at some point you have to shift, right? Are they going to ride this all the way into the ground?
Yeah.
I guess they're going to ride it into the ground because Don Lemon is up there faking tears or whatever. I guess he's not on the show anymore, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're up there just, pandering to the same audience. It's like, guys, it's over.
Well, see, that's exactly what happened to them in 2020 when Trump was no longer there and they couldn't manufacture their chaos anymore, and they lost so much of their viewership. So much. 2/3, 3/4 of their viewership left at CNN. They started hemorrhaging cash because they didn't have advertisers, because they're like, you don't have an audience. Why would we keep you on here? So it's pretty spectacular.
Oh, man. So, I mean...
Oh, that would be spectacular, Ingrid, if Elon bought CNN. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. So they're saying that, I mean, honestly, Elon could buy this he could scoop it up for $10 billion.
I mean, you give it about 3 months and they probably won't even be worth that.
It's pretty crazy,
if they keep up their bullshit, especially after Trump removes their subsidies, and they're not getting FCC money anymore for not providing news.
Right.
So
that would be amazing. CNN turns into XNN.
They've already talked about it. They're like, yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want on your networks. You're just not going to get government money from the FCC.
Right. I would love,
because you're not a news broadcasting.
Would it be XNN, X News Network? It'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I would watch it every day. It would just be up on my TV. I'd never stop watching it.
Yeah, I would probably tune back into the network.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I wonder who he would hire. Alex Jones.
Not if he wanted to pick up that sweet FCC money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides, there's no way it's going to turn to InfoWars.
No
way. All right. Anything else?
No, other than the Amber Alert that went out for the 20 million Democratic voters that disappeared.
Yeah, we need
from
to find
2020
them.
to 2024.
They're out there somewhere.
I mean,
we got to find them.
Huge reward looking for them. So if you guys find them, let somebody know.